Just like on the exterior with the porch and the shutters, and in our living room with the decorative opening and the plastered brick, in our dining room, we added instead of taking away. Before, we had the raised ceiling detail, but there was nothing on the sides to separate our kitchen from our dining room. This was one continuous wall. And I really wanted to create some architectural separation and had this vision of doing these side lights on either side. So we did interior windows and a paneling detail, and it didn't close off the room in a way where it feels smaller, but it does feel like it's its own space now instead of just part of the kitchen. And I love that because this is our only dining space. We don't have a formal and casual dining space. And so I needed it to bridge both. And having this separation, the glass dresses it up. And so as I went down the path of creating a new look for this space, I wanted to try out some of our new McGee & Co pieces. And I fell in love with this table that has the clipped corners, and it also is an extension table. And I host a lot, and so with a few feet on either side left in this space, I knew I could expand the table and add a few more guests. I also love this diamond jute rug. It's one of my favorite pieces. It just goes with everything, and I love that natural texture it gives. In our previous dining look, I didn't have a rug in this space, and it was mainly because I had little kids and I thought that there would be a lot of spills on the rug. Then I lived in the home for a while and realized that my kids love to eat at the kitchen island, and so we don't eat at this table as often as in our kitchen, and we could handle a rug. That is how I make that decision for our clients. I get asked a lot, do you need a rug in a dining space? And if it's a formal dining room, I do think it's really nice to have a rug, but in one that is just off of the kitchen, I think it's more, is this a rug that is going to be spilled on all of the time, and can you handle that? So when I was picking these pieces, I loved the clip corners, as I mentioned, and loved how they paired with this new light fixture. The shapes complement each other really well. On the dining chairs, I loved this more cottage homey feel on the style of the chairs, and really leaned into that look by adding cushions from our Target collection. So we really mixed high and low in the space, and I'm all about that. These are our Sasha slip-covered chairs in a white linen. And I know you're hearing white linen and thinking I'm crazy, but Mom and Dad are the only ones that get to sit on the white linen chairs, and the kids sit in the side chairs. So I think that the lightness, honestly, what happened is we shot our summer catalog and we had this pairing of the table and chairs, and I was like, I really want that. It just worked. So I brought that pairing to my house. I love an upholstered end chair because I think it adds a lot of softness to a dining space, especially when you don't have a lot of furniture to warm up the space. I did all of these changes, and from the beginning, I knew I wanted wallpaper, but I couldn't figure out exactly what wallpaper was the right selection because I have a lot of space above, and I wanted the wallpaper to feel like it was growing up and over the windows, and I went through a lot of options. And then at some point I just said, you know what? My dining room is really pretty as is. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna sit on it for a while because I can't figure out what wallpaper. Well, a couple weeks ago, I was like, it needs wallpaper. I just need to find the right one. So I ordered a ton of samples, and this Pierre Frey wallpaper was a fabric sample that I had had for years and loved. And then the wallpaper came and it was like, this is it. I just knew it was the one. My favorite color is green, so I'm never gonna get tired of it. And it's a kind of like leafy floral vibe. And I mean, I'd wear this pattern. I would decorate in this pattern. It's just the right thing for the space. And I love that when you walk into our home in the entryway, you can look back to this room and see it. It was installed yesterday. So that kind of gives you an idea of the timeline we were working with. And I'm so glad I did it because it is completely transformed. The pantry, it's dramatic and a big change in a small space, and I love it so much. Going dark in the pantry is something I wanted to do for quite some time. It is a windowless small space, and it's going to feel like a windowless small space regardless of the color of the cabinets. And I decided to lean in. They were white before, and that was great, but I wanted to stand in the living room and look to the wallpaper in the dining room and pull in some of the green tone. And going dark and dramatic just felt like a really fun surprise in a small space. So everything except for the paint color and styling stayed the same. So the countertops, the backsplash, the faucet, the hardware, it is really paint that completely transformed the feeling in here. Even though it's a small space, the pantry was a lot of work because Sid was in a mountain bike accident, has no working hands. And so I had to clear every item and all 19 of his small kitchen appliances out of our kitchen. And we have a few less than 19 now, and we'll see if he notices. It was just a lot of work to clear out the pantry, but it also gave me the opportunity to clean everything out and only put back in what we needed. I hope you enjoyed the main living spaces in our home. If so, check out the exterior webisode, and up next we'll be sharing the bedrooms.
Another design element we added were these sidelights here. This is somewhere where I think Shea does a really good job and excels at defining different rooms. We built these in our shop, and these actually, we had a lot of meetings about them to get the proportions just right. We liked the grid placement, but this specific grid was to match up with the windows here, but our windows aren't the same, you know, throughout. So we had to pick the points we wanted to match and where it seemed the most cohesive. No matter how hard we try as contractors, we're just invasive and we make a mess and we do our absolute best. I'm thankful that the McGees had patience with us. It's not for the faint of heart to do a remodel if you are living in the home. So I feel really happy we got this all done in time for the holidays. They're able to enjoy it. Just this morning though, we talked about our next project here, so you haven't seen the end of us.